A cancer diagnosis is among the scariest news someone can get from their doctor. But for many young Canadians who hear the words, "you have cancer," finding levity in that diagnosis is key to coping with the stress and fear that comes with it. According to University of Toronto professor Catherine Sabiston, who specializes in mental health and cancer, there are 3 methods people use to cope with grief or stress: problem-focused, emotion-focused, and avoiding coping altogether.
Humor would fall under the emotion-focused coping. It tends to be explored as, sort of a positive attribute tied to coping.
2-time Hodgkin lymphoma survivor Chelsea Gomez connects with this coping method. The 32-year-old has cultivated an online community through her Instagram page called "Oh, You're So Tough." Here, she posts often sarcastic, dark-humored cancer memes she draws and promotes her online store for handmade items like stickers, cards, and bags that feature funny, colorful slogans about dealing with cancer.
I just needed an outlet for some of these feelings that I was having after everything I had been through. So I decided to start drawing how I really felt about cancer versus the way that everyone told me I should feel.
She says the experiences and emotions behind the jokes are relatable for many of her over 18,000 followers.
But when you talk about it with other people, you don't feel so alone or like you're out of your mind, because sometimes you think these things and you're like, or when people ghost you because you have cancer, it's a universal experience that happens to almost every cancer patient.
Amplifying the voices of the cancer community, as well as other chronic illness communities, is Halifax-based Jeremie Saunders, founder of the Sickboy Podcast. Saunders, who has cystic fibrosis, says he started this podcast with 2 of his friends to have hard conversations with people about their experiences having a chronic or terminal illness, but with a comedic twist.
When speaking about really tough subject matter, laughter is not something to be used as a crutch, but rather it's a tool that you can use to kind of access this bridge to get to the heart of the real stuff that matters. So it makes the conversation maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit more easeful. It tears away the awkwardness that might come with speaking about something that is really tough or really heart-wrenching.
Saunders says a mistaken belief people have is assuming he feels sad or hopeless talking to other seriously ill people.
I think that's one of the big misconceptions, is that being open and conversing about these types of things, or that these communities that people find online are like communities that are just cesspools of sadness. Like, that's the thing that I've found quite interesting to hear people think when in reality, when you're in it, when you're having those conversations, it can be really, really uplifting.
But what's important to remember is when it comes to coping mechanisms, what works for some people may not work for others.
People are using humor and levity in different ways, and at different everybody's on their own trajectory of after diagnosis. And so what may seem right at one point may not seem right or effective at another point.
Laughter may not be the answer to physically treating cancer or its symptoms, but for some, it just may prove to be the best medicine. Alexia, Kapralos, Global News.